today's world wants us all to be grasshoppers. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, 100%.
They want us all just,
come hang out.
Just scrolling by, and they're giving us all these reasons to not pay attention to our daily lives, to sink down into one or another screen and look around for something that isn't there. They want us to live on credit. They want us to just be worker bees that get paychecks to pay down the credit that we keep extending out in front of us. There is no culture in today's world. And we have to try to help you see that a little bit of delayed gratification in the form of Bitcoin can turn into a whole lot of gratification. Welcome to Sat Chats, the Bitcoin podcast where we chat about sats. Sats are the smallest part of a Bitcoin, the same way pennies are the smallest part of a dollar. With Sat Chats, we are building the world's biggest Bitcoin welcome center to serve as your gateway to generational wealth. So if you're brand new to Bitcoin, we want to chat about sats with you. Head to satchats.com to grab your slot in our studio today. I'll be your host, Stuart Bitcoin Maxi, who wears prescription sunglasses to protect you and your loved ones from my Bitcoin laser eyes.
And I'm your co-host, Chris, founder and CEO of Ithaca Hummus, resident Bitcoin smash buyer. We're giving away 10 million sats. So I would highly suggest you head to our YouTube channel and smash the subscribe button, just like I smash buy Bitcoin when my wife lets me.
We're also looking for watch hours to unlock a membership only area. So hit the playlists, right? So just make like OG Furious and get caught up. We're also on the road to number 99, Chris and my wife. So we have been training with women for over 25, 26, 27 episodes, okay? Speaking of women, we have got ourselves another lady in the here, okay? Number 76, Sarah.
Hello.
Now, this one is special because Sarah is part of our team here at Sat Chats. And she works with number 40, Anna Bevan, our chief of staff, to get it all done, right? Including jumping on the show when we ain't got nobody. So, Sarah does not have any Bitcoin.
No.
No Bitcoin.
Not a single
Zero?
sat. None. I invest and I have like a Roth and I have all that, but
wow.
You're advanced.
Yeah.
For your age, I would say.
100%.
Well, my grandpa is really into investing, so he made us read like Little Book That Beat the Market and all that.
Nice.
I fell asleep 4 times while reading it, but I sort of read it.
Yeah, that
between
counts.
Sleeping.
That counts.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll get into that today.
Yeah.
We're going to be answering your questions about Bitcoin. But before we do, help our satillionaires out there get to know who you are.
My name is Sarah. I'm from Raleigh. I'm in college, so I'm still learning. I don't know anything about Bitcoin. I have family members who do, but they bore me, so I don't listen to them. It's my brother. I don't listen to my brother. Yeah, I don't know much about Bitcoin. I know very little, but I'm gathering some knowledge working here.
Yeah. How old is your brother? Older than you?
He is. He's 22.
And which university are you at?
UNC.
Let's go. Okay.
Go Heels.
Chapel Hill.
Just let the people. Chapel Hill. Yeah.
Just giving away my location.
Well, what year are you in?
I'm less than a senior. I'm going to be so secretive. I hear that's a Bitcoin thing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, and by the way, once you get to where you have been at Chapel Hill long enough, you'll dump all that UNC nonsense. Just Chapel Hill.
I just say UNC or Chapel Hill.
Yeah, we don't need any of that.
I don't do the full thing any.
Yeah.
Unless someone's like.
Only Chapel Hill.
I've had someone ask me which one when I said UNC, and I was like, the one, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't add Greensboro to it.
I
said UNC.
UNCG,
yeah,
UNCC.
That can be a bit of a flex as well, UNC, because it is the university.
It's the university.
Right. But one of the ways that I suss people out is what they say. Like if somebody never went to Chapel Hill and then I talk to them, they're like, yeah, I love UNC. I'm like, you never went there. Never went there. You're just a fan, right? But when you say, yeah, Chapel Hill's great, then I'm like, okay, you went there.
So if I were a satillionaire watching this right now, and I just found out that you are an intern here at Sat Chats.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want to know what that's like a little bit. Tell us about that.
I
Dude,
do
I
a
wanna
lot of
know
the
what that's like.
socials. That's my like main thing. I have to explain this to my family a lot, and every time they want a deeper explanation, and I can't give it to them because I'm terrible at descriptions. But I do like the stories on Instagram. I do some of those, and then I do what we call like evergreen content. So it'll be like what holidays are like Bitcoin holidays are coming up. Like that will be used over and over again simply because like the holiday is not really going to change. Like you can add on to it, but like you keep the main core idea. So I do a lot of that. And then I also just like assist with anything that's needed. I can call people. I can drive to the grocery store and pick up some random things. I can do like typical intern stuff as well.
What do you honestly think about Chris so far? Because you've been with us for like
you
2
have the
weeks.
most rare eye and hair combo.
Whoa, damn.
Is that factual?
Mhm.
Wow.
Let me
You
see
would
the
think it's
peepers.
green eyes. Green eyes are the most rare
Dang, bro.
eye color, and
That's
red
looking
hair
rare.
is the most rare hair color.
He's got the Bitcoin of
Unless you
faces.
consider strawberry blonde to be a hair color, then that is technically more rare than red hair.
Okay.
However,
Okay.
red hair and blue eyes is the most rare eye and hair combo.
I'm rare. I mean, that makes me valuable.
God, Diesel. It's built into your life, bro. The inflation is everywhere.
There you go.
Oh, it's everywhere, dude.
High demand, low supply.
If you take no action, it just inflates of its own accord, dude.
It just finds me.
Golly.
You'd also be considered lucky in ancient Rome.
Really?
They would have
Huh.
red-haired slaves because they considered them lucky.
Oh.
What?
So,
Well, why would they enslave them?
Well, they already had like a lot of other slaves too, so it was like they didn't. The new thing about slavery actually is that it back in like long ago it wasn't like racial, so like they would just find somebody and be like, "You're gonna work on my farm."
You're gonna taste all my food before I eat it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Red hair?
I'm gonna
You
put
get
you to
over
work.
here.
Actually,
How's your pain tolerance?
Lucky slave. Hey, lucky slave.
you'd be treated pretty well.
Blow on this dice. Blow on this dice.
Hey, look, get over here. Get over. I need you.
All right. All right.
Sheesh.
Now.
No, wait, no. But I was interested in that answer.
Okay.
Should we double click on that, or maybe we should?
On
We
what?
should ask. Well, he asked, "What do you really think about me?"
Yeah.
Okay, you wanted me to go back other than my initial impression of you having this
No, what do
red hair.
you think about me?
Oh.
Which is what I was gonna ask.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm interested in myself too.
Of course you are. Yeah. What do you think
I
about
don't know.
Stuart? What's it like to be working with Stuart?
Because you've been here like
It's
about
nice
2
to
weeks,
you
right?
talk, so sometimes
No,
I
way
don't have
more.
to talk. If I don't feel like talking, you'll talk, and that's nice.
Like just out in the common area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I'm feeling quiet one day, like y'all will talk, and I'm like, this is nice. I don't have to speak.
All right, one word to describe Stuart. Stuart's a
I'm
I
hearing.
restrict to one. I'll give you three.
Okay.
I'm gonna say loud, just because like when I hear voices downstairs, yours is the main one.
Okay.
I'd see like you're like, oh, I can't. That's too.
So what I'm hearing is rare, loud.
Well,
Got
I
it.
haven't finished.
Good.
I'm trying to like reaching back in my vocabulary.
You did this to yourself.
I did. Gosh darn you, Sarah. Like
I think that's the
I
word
would
my
say, like,
wife would use
I'm
to
gonna-
describe me too.
I'm gonna use my last two on the same as a combination. I'm gonna say like you're sneaky smart.
Sneaky smart.
Like I wouldn't expect you to be as like intellectual as you are.
How come?
I don't know.
Do I look like a
I don't.
goof? Or?
I don't really assume, but I have everyone at like average level of intelligence until I know them more. I don't like to assume lower. I don't like to assume higher.
Mhm.
I put a baseline.
Funny,
Wow.
funny how? Like I'm a clown? Like I amuse you? Like funny? You know what I'm talking
No,
about?
it's kind of familiar, but not. Not really.
Goodfellas?
Goodfellas. Okay.
Joe Pesci.
Joe
I haven't seen
Pesci.
that.
Okay.
But you seen Home Alone, Joe Pesci. Love that guy.
Great
So rare and loud, sneaky smart. I like it.
Yeah,
So let's see what your intelligence level is about Bitcoin here.
low.
Low.
Let's take the average and move it down.
Let's hear what you know about Bitcoin. How much do you know about Bitcoin?
I know what I put on the fun fact sheets, which is there's Pizza Day, May 22nd.
Yeah.
I like that day. That's a
Pretty
good
deep knowledge,
one.
Yeah.
I know sats are 1 to the 10 to the negative 8th of
Dang.
Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Scientific math. Sheesh.
It's easier to think about it that way.
Is it?
Yeah, for me
She's
it
got that
is.
E on the calculator, you
Yeah,
know?
my brain doesn't work that way.
I see that E, I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
Can you show me what the number is?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
yeah.
like the E. The E is like pretentious. If I
Ah.
see someone write E on it, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
calm down.
Chill.
Like, we're in Chem 101. We're
Yeah.
not doing anything.
Yeah.
You didn't place out.
Oh, you didn't place out.
Damn,
Get that
bird.
E out of your number.
Everyone is failing these exams, and you included. So,
Oh,
like, let's
wow.
not put the E. It's times 10. So,
Yeah.
I
All right.
find it easier to think of it that way, simply because, like, that's how my brain works.
Then you just add the zeros, 8
Mhm.
zeros.
So one sat is 10 to the negative 8th Bitcoins.
hmm
Okay.
And I just learned from
Mhm.
talking right before this that a sat, like, when you get a transaction of sats, it's like a gold. This is how I'm going to think about it, because I like metaphors and similes and whatever you want to call them. It's like a gold bar, and that, like, if you receive like half a gold bar and you like get another half a gold bar, you don't have like, well, you kind of do, but not really. You have like, technically you have like one whole bar if you were to combine them, but you in reality have two halves. So like,
Yeah.
the little fee thing over here, which I thought was interesting, it was like the transaction fee. It goes up because it's complicated to, if you're like a blacksmith or goldsmith, you would have to melt it down, which would cost money back in the day to do that. So that's how my brain is thinking. I'm taking like, this is a very advanced thing, and I'm like, well, if I was in the Middle Ages, how would I do this?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
so like it would take you time, which is time is money, to melt it down and combine them, which is increases your transaction fee.
Yeah. 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 Think about having
Which is how I
like
thought about that.
half a gold bar, 3 gold coins of different sizes, and then some snips of coins, and then like a necklace or two. And you just have like a jumble of different amounts of gold. It's not like in a bank where they can kind of just record that you have this much money and then split it out and send it or combine it back together. You know, those are real world amounts of gold. And if you and I needed to transact in a way that was more than the gold chain I have, but less than the gold coins I have, you know, like you have to kind of find like, well, how do we get you enough of my gold to account for the thing that I'm buying from you? And it might take some work to either melt that down or maybe clip it and say, okay, well, let's just weigh out the necklace and then clip coins until we get to the weight that we're looking for. And then what do you have? You got a kind of a random jumble of stuff as well. So Bitcoin does behave like that, but on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm confused, but that's okay because I think
It's like,
The wallet takes care of it for you.
let me ask you this.
Hmm.
In your own words,
mhm.
describe what is Bitcoin.
Well, there's like a definition of it that I've seen on the computer, but I'll give you the way I think about it personally.
Give us both. What's the definition? And then tell
Definition
us.
is like, it's a monetary like coin, cryptocurrency, online. I
Oh.
know.
Oh,
How dare I?
I mean, technically it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Online, and then like it's made up of 100 million satoshis, and that's all I remember from the definition. Unless I go get my computer.
Okay. All right.
But the way you're also not gonna like this one.
It's okay.
This one's even worse. This is how I personally.
We got to
think
know
about
where
I bet
you're
it's
at
great.
so
it.
that
I
we
think
can
of
meet
it
you there.
as a stock.
A stock.
As a stock.
Okay.
Because I know stocks very little. I know very, very little because I also I just don't really get into them, even though I know a lot of people who do like them. But I think of it as a stock. Like a Satoshi, you have one Satoshi. The value of that Satoshi can go up as like the blockchain and all that. But like you still have one Satoshi
Mhm.
or like one Bitcoin. And so like if you have a stock, you have pretty much the same thing.
Number of shares.
Like a share.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your share price can go up, your share price can go down.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, this is a great indication of where we are as a whole, because I learned on Monday how to search for trends on Google. Like Google has an area like Google Trends, and you can see like how often people are searching. Because I wanted to know, like, are people interested in Bitcoin right now or are they not? And one of the related searches that was most like prevalent for Bitcoin was Bitcoin stock price.
Mm-hmm.
People are searching for Bitcoin stock price.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Yes.
That's where we are as a country.
Yeah.
And as a globe. Like, well, what's the price of that Bitcoin stock? It's like, ugh. You know?
Well,
so it's helpful to think of it in that way. But I think there's a lot of people who think that it's like a stock.
Well, I think those people may be conflating the term stock with the term investment. Because I think what you're actually saying is like you look at Bitcoin as a place where you can invest money, and that money will either grow or diminish based on how well the thing that you're investing is doing, right?
Yes.
So, and we talked about this yesterday also, which is that is probably the most common on-ramp for people. So you're not alone. That doesn't make me feel upset or whatever. I think that's a totally fine place to come at this from, because what are you worried about at the end of the day? Like, what do you try to achieve with an investment?
Making money.
You're just trying to achieve, another way of saying that is financial security. And we live in a world today, unfortunately, where financial security is very hard to come by for most people. Mm-hmm. It's rare.
Oh, it's like the red-headed, blue-eyed.
Maybe I shouldn't have told you that fun fact.
Man of finance. Can I get a mew? Can we get a mew? Yeah. Here's what I'm interested in, because you're a college kid.
Yep.
And you're not a senior yet.
No. Nope.
Okay.
Below a senior.
Right.
Below
so
senior. Look at me go.
We know that. I'm putting this together.
You're not old. Basically, is where I'm driving at, right?
That's what you want to say.
Have you reached a point where you think about money?
Yes.
Okay. Have you reached a point where you worry about money?
No, because I'm very, very fortunate in that my parents support me. Mm-hmm. So I think I am I have friends who do think about money and do think about like how much college costs and how much like they can spend in like X month and like how much they need to save in order to like have a little bit less stress during school. I don't have to think about that because like I'm not taking out loans and I'm not like worrying about like how do I pay for my housing. But there are people who do have to think about that, and like they're on a much tighter budget. So like them, like they'd be eating like the dollar like ramen noodles.
Yeah.
So like
okay. And that's a whole can of worm right there, by the way. This like
single worm.
Just the need to frame responsible, successful parents as privilege. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say like.
Well, they are like they've done an amazing job, and they're being like they have raised me to think about money in a way like I don't. Like, not in, like, oh, yeah, I am worth X amount. Like, I am worth because I am me. But, like, also, think about money in a responsible way. Be aware that you shouldn't probably, like, go to, like, somewhere where they have no money and be like, oh, yeah, I have $400. Because that's, like, not cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, like, be aware of what you have. But also, like, know that you have it and you can, like, smartly do stuff with it.
So if you are in a position to think about money but not worry about it,
yes.
And you're also thinking that it would be a good idea to be smart with what you have, you know, do you want to make smart choices now that could maybe honor your parents' hard work to support you and kind of take it even further? You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, they kind of, maybe they blow it, you know, or they're not grateful for their parents supporting them in that way. And they don't think about money. Maybe they spend it recklessly. Maybe it's not important to them. And like, you know, for someone like you, it's like, okay, you're not destitute like the homeless people that Jeff Booth talked about, who started buying Bitcoin each morning instead of coffee, and it changed their lives. You're in a good place. You know, can you honor and respect that good place by being, you know, a steward of that moment and like, you know, not squandering the kind of head start that you have?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to capture the head start that you have?
Yeah. And I think Bitcoin can be a great way to do that. But like, in my brain, simply because I am very like cautious when it would come to that, simply because it's not fully my money. Like I can't like invest it in some like random thing. Like again, like I see it as an investment right now. Like maybe later it will like kind of morph into something else.
Mhm.
But currently, as I'm still learning, I would say I do see it as an investment. So I couldn't put like a bunch of money into it. But I think Bitcoin could be a great thing to, as I would say, invest in. But like there is definitely a different way to say that. But
Well, what you can do is you can take the leg up that your parents are giving you and then apply that same financial scrutiny that some of your friends who have to work and save and pay their own bills, and take your earnings and invest that.
Yeah.
And I think accomplish what you're getting at, which
Yeah.
is like, how do I take this leg up that I have right now and capture as much of that I can take with me into the future?
Yeah, I like what y'all are saying and making sense. Like I think that would make Bitcoin more like understandable and also like want me to buy it more.
Okay.
I'll say buy, but
One of the things that I'm realizing the more we do this show and the more conversations that I have like this is that we live in a world that is trying to constantly convince you that how you feel right now is more important than how you're going to feel in the future. And it couldn't be further from the truth. It's important to do the work today to protect and ensure that you're going to have the future that you desire. Because if you don't, you're not going to have that future.
Yeah, like do you remember the story of the ant and the grasshopper? Did you ever like read that one growing up? Did you ever hear about the story, the ant and the grasshopper?
I mean, I know the tortoise and the hare.
yeah,
Tortoise and the hare. Slow and steady wins the race.
yep.
Dollar cost average into Bitcoin, folks. Okay, let's go. Chris smashes, sleeps by the tree, wakes up, smashes again. Chris is the hare, right? But with Bitcoin, it doesn't matter whether you're the tortoise or the hare, you win, right? But the ant and the grasshopper, I can't remember if it's like a French fable or what, but it's been translated into English and may even be an English story. Basically, it goes like this. You know, it's the summertime and there is an ant and a grasshopper. The grasshopper is just enjoying the plenty, right? There's plenty of sunlight. Is it ringing a bell for you?
Yep.
Plenty of water, plenty of food. And he's kind of just lazing about on a frond of grass, calling down to the ant like, hey, man, why are you working so hard? You know what I mean? You need to chill out. It's really nice out here. And the ant is like very industriously working each day to bring a little bit of food back into his anthill, you know? And he's like, nah, I'll hang out with you later. I got to get this work done. And short story long, it gets to the winter and the grasshopper is wrecked. And the ant is good to go because the ant prioritized the hard season coming ahead, not the easy season that he's in, you know? You're at university and, you know, you're better than I was at your age because you're seeking internships, you're seeking extracurriculars. You've got some early investments through your granddad. I mean, I was an absolute dum-dum. So, you know, you're not in grasshopper mode, I would say, right? But Bitcoin could help you be in ant mode.
Yeah.
And it's not really like, you know, there's a lot of stories of people that really deprive themselves of their youth in order to get enough money and retire early. And, you know, they do things like move into the basement of their own house and rent out the rest of it to like a family that lives above them. I mean, there was a guy on Reddit who was like a lawyer and he would be a lawyer during the day. He moved into the basement of his own house and rented the rest to a family. He only ate mac and cheese from a box for
Just
like
getting
years.
healthy.
And he like drove Uber on the weekends and he was able to retire like in his late 30s, but he was on Reddit. He's like, guys, I think I just wasted 20 years of my life getting to this place, right? So you don't need to deprive yourself to do what we're recommending. You just need to figure out how to maybe get a little bit of Bitcoin, $50 a month, especially at your age, $50 a month at your age, by the time 30 years have passed, 40 years have passed. Shoo! Can you imagine?
Well, yeah, you've got plenty of time. The old saying, you reap what you sow. You've got a lot of seasons. You got a lot of seasons ahead of you, and you don't need to reap it all in one season or sow it all in one season. You can just over time. So,
and you know what? Today's world wants us all to be grasshoppers. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, 100%.
They want us all just,
come hang out,
just scrolling by, and I know that you do our social media, and you're helping create the scroll, but they're giving us all these reasons to not pay attention to our daily lives, to sink down into one or another screen and look around for something that isn't there. They want us to live on credit. They want us to just be worker bees that get paychecks to pay down the credit that we keep extending out in front of us. Like, there is no culture in today's world, certainly here in America, to delay gratification.
Yeah.
There's no delayed gratification in today's world. And we have to try to help you see that a little bit of delayed gratification in the form of Bitcoin can turn into a whole lot of gratification. You know what I mean? Like, Spencer was talking just yesterday about a guy that bought $20 each day for 8 years, which is about $56,000. He's a multimillionaire.
So you have no Bitcoin right now, correct?
Yes.
Up until this point, what has held you back from buying Bitcoin?
I mean, I didn't really know about it for probably the first 16 years of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I did know about it, it was through memes of if I bought Bitcoin when I was 6 months old, I would have been a millionaire by now. But the joke was I was 3. That probably wasn't going to happen.
So you either didn't know about it, part one, or what you did know about it made you feel already like you missed the boat.
Yeah, it was kind of it kind of blew up. Right now, you're you could still make some money, but it was the big jumping point's kind of already passed.
Okay. All right. What else?
I mean, what else did I know? I'm trying to think.
Yeah. Did you have any feelings toward it after you learned about it?
Not really. I kind of it wasn't really on my mind. I was just oh yeah, that's something I know exists.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a food you randomly hear about once, and you're oh, that's cool, and you're right, and then you keep going with your day.
But you said you invest in a 401k
or a Roth,
Roth,
Yeah.
Okay,
which is crazy.
Well, and is that an active? Are you participating in that actively, or was it something you just kind of set up and it happens now?
I set it. So I think I set it up when I was 17 or 16. And then I didn't put. I'm gonna be so real. I haven't put a ton of money in there. It's I did babysitting, and that's what I could put in.
Got it.
So if I do put any money in there, it's not I'm putting $4,000 in there and being oh yeah, here we go. It's gonna set me up for life. But the money I that is invested and that I do invest, I would say I'm more passively investing and more actively doing my Roth. Simply that's a little easier to be active in. I can be actively put $300 in it or something, and then it's a one-time payment for later. But then investing, I can be, or I'll mention to someone who I'm investing with, and I'll be oh yeah, I think this will work. But I don't do that as much. I will say, I will admit, I am probably the least active investor in my family.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say something, and I'll be oh, that's cool, I should do that too, and I jump on the bandwagon.
So you classify, your Roth you consider an investment because it is, right?
Yeah.
Bitcoin you consider an investment.
I do.
So as you compare, how do you compare and contrast those two investments and arrive at the Roth being the right one versus Bitcoin?
The Roth I was just more familiar with. Like, I know more people who are actively involved in it.
Got it.
So, like, I know I can trust it simply because, like, I trust my mother, and my mother has one. So, like, obviously, like, if my mom says something's okay, I'm going to, like, do it. Like, she says the food's not poisoned, I'm going to be like, cool, it's not poisoned, because my mom wouldn't poison me. But, like, I don't think she knows too much about Bitcoin, and, like, the people who do know about Bitcoin within my family, we just don't really talk about it, just because it's, like, not that active, like, of a topic we'll talk about. And so, like, Bitcoin just, it's like there, like, I don't know how to like describe it, because it's like it's part of my life, but not like it's so small that I wouldn't think about it often.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think if you branded yourself as the Bitcoin babysitter, you would be straight babysitting all the time.
The Bitcoin babysitter.
People in Raleigh be like, we want the Bitcoin babysitter. And your whole shtick is like, look, the money you pay me to babysit your kids is going right to Bitcoin. And like all the Bitcoiners in Raleigh would be like, over here, come over here now, babysit my kids. I would feel great paying a babysitter knowing that he or she were going to convert that immediately to Bitcoin. Or I'd be like, I'll pay you in Bitcoin. I will pay you in Bitcoin. So how interesting if your babysitting money went to Bitcoin, for example, just $20 here, $20 there, it doesn't take a lot, especially when you're starting as early as you do. It's not a massive change. It's just your spare change can go into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting idea. But I think what you're saying, though, is that your Roth has the endorsement of people you trust, your family.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin is just this nebulous thing that you've heard of that you don't feel like you're in a place where you can really trust it.
Yeah.
Even when people with ultra rare complexions are talking about it, it's crazy.
Really? Are you sure?
Like,
he
would be one of the luckiest slaves. You know what I mean?
But yet I'm here talking about Bitcoin.
I mean,
How's
I would
that
say
work?
like watching your podcast and like hearing more successful people like talk about it, it does like assure worries I have, but like I don't know. I just haven't gotten into it. Like I'm kind of lazy a little bit as a person. So like starting it up, I feel like is the hard part, and like that's the part I kind of haven't gotten to. Like I will like listen to it and I'll like learn about it, and I've been doing a little bit of that outside of like here, but I just haven't gotten to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, I can fully like dive into that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What if you had some help setting up a wallet, stacking your first sats, and like getting set up on an exchange where you could easily buy $10, $20, $30 worth of Bitcoin when you wanted it?
That would be very helpful, because I don't really I understand the concept of a wallet, like, oh yeah, that's where you keep things, but like how do you like get one of those?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like I know the store exists, but like where is the store?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like can I go to it to get like the Bitcoin? And like I think the stock thing where like Bitcoin stock value is like I know you can go to like I know there's like NASDAQ, and I know there's other things like that, and I know where I can go to buy those, but I don't know where I can go to buy Bitcoin or where I can go to like do that. Like I know it exists, but like as you said, like the nebulous, like it's there and I'm here, and like how do I go from here to there without like getting lost and doing something wrong?
Yeah. It's incredible how easy they've made it for us to like access Wall Street, but how easily can you like pull out your phone and like trade a bale of wheat? It's really interesting to think about the areas of investments that companies and people have made easy for us to deal with, and then like all the areas of investments that aren't as easy for us to get to. I wouldn't know the first thing about trading coffee futures. Do you know what I mean? But you can pull out your phone and, go on Robinhood and buy some stocks, sell some stocks. Like Wall Street has become very easy to access. Yeah. It doesn't mean that coffee or wheat or Bitcoin are bad investments. It just means you have to know where to find them and how to get at them. Right. Yeah. And we won't say that guy right now currently, but we've had somebody on the show who traded commodities very easily because he knew how. So we're going to offer you something here in a second, and basically it's going to be help setting up a wallet, stacking your first sats with us, and since you're here, setting up an account that would allow you to buy Bitcoin whenever you want. You know what I mean? So we can take away some of the non-user friendliness, basically. And you're asking like where this stuff is. It's like a smartphone app, just like downloading a bank account, a bank app, or a social media app, just on your phone, right? So I think we can get it to a point where all you got to do is open an app and say, I want more Bitcoin. And then it shows up in your wallet, right? How does that sound to you? How would you feel about that?
That sounds good.
That actually, to me, like, I thinking this through, I don't actually believe that it's the lack of trust that's kept you away from Bitcoin. I don't think that's true because
going psychologist on
yeah. Well, I mean, it's the fact is, like, it doesn't sound like you have a tremendous amount of money invested in your Roth.
I honestly, to be for real with you, I think I have like I'm not gonna tell you the exact amount because I also kind of have no idea. But every year I just put whatever I made that year, and I just put all of it into my Roth.
Okay.
Like every single dollar I've made that year, because I'm able to, because my parents do fund me. Like,
wow. Okay.
Okay.
So maybe you have thousands of dollars.
I don't make that much money, like in babysitting. In babysitting, I don't do it like crazy often, and I love doing it. It's a great job, and like I love interacting with the kids. But like I'm not doing a crazy amount there. So I'll put like everything I've made that year in there, or like 90% of what I've made that year in there.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I'm saying is like it's an amount of money that if you lost it, it wouldn't necessarily change your life.
No, because
today.
I don't know what's in there.
Right, because it's not. So I actually think it's less about fear of loss, which is what you would need an endorsement and more trust to overcome. And it's more about just like there's a ton of friction that's standing between you and investing in Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just think it's like this complicated web of like I think it's a matter of time. Like you don't want to invest your time to figuring all this out because it's like, nah, I got this Roth thing and I'm just like pushing money into that, and I'm even if it's not like as good, it's still good.
Yeah.
And I get to keep my time and I don't have to like spend a whole bunch of time figuring this out.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I like now that you point that out, I would say like that is definitely one of the major things. I'd say like I do have a fear of losing it because like my Roth, I put it in there and I'm like I can fully know it's there.
Yeah.
And this one, I do know that I'm like I could lose it, and now that if I'm like aware of it, like cognitively, and then I lose it, I'm gonna be like, oh, I should have done it.
Yeah.
It's like when you like on a video game when you like make a bad move and you're like, oh, I could have made a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
I could have done this.
Yes.
And I would be the type of person to like kind of ruminate on that.
Well, let's recap our convo here with Sarah today. Number one, loved that she stepped in as a guest for us because we need tape. Number two, I loved that she feels like you're one of the luckiest slaves out there today, and that your complexion is rare and that it makes you desirable.
Just gotta put on more
servant.
sunscreen.
You know what I mean?
That makes two of us.
I also have now learned that I'm both loud and sneaky smart, which is good.
And that was my first. To be clear, that was like my first impression. Like this wasn't like I didn't know you and think that. It was like, oh, this is my first impression.
I'm happy with those words. I can like that. I like that Chris is rare. I like that I'm loud and sneaky smart. That's good. These are like our personas that we're building up here, right? It was also interesting to see that, everywhere Chris goes, it's just like, whoosh, whoosh.
Oh, it's rare air up in here, boy.
It's not good. We need to get the rare air out of the balloon. It needs to deflate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we learned that you grew up in Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to Chapel Hill.
Yep.
Not yet a senior. And, you're thinking about money. You don't have to worry about money. And kudos to your parents and your family for that. You got an older brother who knows about Bitcoin that you don't really listen to.
Well, he's my brother. It's kind of like
nobody listens to
like,
their brother.
I listen to him in a way where I'm like, okay, I know you're smart, but also like, stop annoying me. I want to go to bed. Or like, we can talk about some random thing that I find funny. So
You're definitely doing more than I ever did. You've got, you're working for a little bit of pocket change, and you're kind of saving it all and putting it into a retirement vehicle, which is very impressive.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now you're
Um,
boosting my ego. I like that.
yeah. Well, yeah, you're fine. Boosting your ego ain't gonna hurt nobody.
I think that's your self-esteem, though, not your ego.
Yeah.
Oh, I have enough self-esteem. I value myself enough. Don't worry.
Good.
Oh,
good,
nice.
Good.
Well, that makes
But that
one
can
of
go
us
up,
at
too.
this
That
table.
makes one of us, yeah.
So that's really cool. And what's interesting too is just the idea of thinking about, your annual, where you kind of smash the piggy bank and get it into the investment vehicle, and maybe your granddad's helping you grow that a little bit each year. If you smash the piggy bank and smashed Bitcoin, it's just like Jeff Booth says, coffee money today is cars tomorrow, right? And I think we said pocket change today is rocket money tomorrow. Pocket money is rocket money. Like your annual little could just woo. But we talked about how Bitcoin, if you can kind of eliminate the friction of downloading a wallet, setting yourself up on an exchange, buying your first Bitcoin, then you have the potential to take the great head start in life that your parents have given you and kind of like capture that and grow it even more, so that by the time you reach our age, you'll be fully free to conduct whatever activity you wanted, whether it was to vacation or work or, be charitable, whatever. Because Bitcoin over time only does one thing.
Well, give you a lot of credit. Like, you're already doing that. You're just, I think where we'd love to see you do that with Bitcoin, because we think it's going to work out, 10 times better, 100 times better.
Yeah. I mean, the impact of $50 a month over your lifetime is so great that we would love to see you get started right now. So let's see if you're ready to get started right now. Let's tank up a little bit. I'll flip it over to you.
All right. So I actually, our corporate founding sponsor, Ithaca Hummus.
What? We have a sponsor?
I think you actually were eating.
Tell me all about them.
I think you were eating this just before we came up here to film for lunch. Is that gonna work?
Try it. We're in an experimental phase here.
All right, so let's carefully each take a little woven wheats as to not knock down the lid.
So no blood sugar today. You're able to eat.
They took like 10 tubes of blood yesterday.
Oh my god!
They wanted all my blood.
They're like they only needed one tube, but they were like,
this is so rare.
They're like, look at his hair, look at his eyebrow. Like, this is
like
some of the luckiest blood.
I'm
gonna harvest you for medicine, and I'm gonna like when they like poach a rhino and grind up his horn, for like various medicines and potions. I'm gonna do the same to you, dude.
I'll start saving my toenail clippings.
I'm gonna like shave, dude. I'm gonna shave off the mustache. I'm gonna grind the mustache hairs in like a mortar pestle and be like, guys, this is some of the luckiest powder. Okay, sprinkle it on every purchase of Bitcoin you make.
Yeah. You'll feel so good.
Hey man, toenail clippings, my Q-tips, I'll bring them in.
Yeah, I like that. Jeremy is not gonna bring in his Q-tips because they're ungodly.
Ugh.
Oh, wait, where are you?
All right.
Yeah,
all right. So let's rip into the mic here. Cheers.
You ever had a romesco sauce?
That sounds fancy.
Probably
not.
It's it like goes with seafood, like a cold chilled seafood like platter, with like lobster and shrimp and stuff on it. You know what I'm talking about? Romesco.
Is it like a tartar type seafood sauce, or is it like a tomato type sauce?
It's like a red pepper. It's like a red peppery kind of roasted red pepper puree style sauce.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Are you getting those vibes over here?
Yes.
What are you picking up over there?
Hummus.
Hummus. Tastes like hummus?
Yeah.
Holler. Yes. One of my own.
I actually didn't eat hummus before coming here. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I had tried it like 2 or 3 times, and then I was like,
Forgettable.
no.
Forgettable. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
gross. I don't know.
Pasty.
But it's
Ew.
actually a lot better than I remember it.
Well, that's because it's Ithaca.
That's probably true. I tried it from the Circle brand.
Oh, that round tub. Ugh. But Chris unleashed on that round tub one time. I think I kept it in.
Sabra?
Uh-huh. All right. Let's take a look at her offer.
So as you know, we give away sats here. But you do get your choice. We are big believers in value for value.
Mm-hmm.
And so we appreciate, and as much as Stuart tried to make you feel less than your right size because you're just a fill-in.
Ooh. Chappie's going to rip me for that later,
she
too.
is. She's like, wait a second. Sarah stepped
She's
up.
going to start trying to be your friend now.
And Sarah is probably a better interview than we would have had with anyone else.
I like her like age group too. Like
Me too.
I know we're marching with the millennial ladies for my wife, but like after her, I want to focus on college kids for a little while.
Let's do it. Can you help us with that?
I know a few college kids, believe it or not.
All right, good.
It's an easy way to make $50 worth of Bitcoin, and
Yeah.
like we could help all of y'all pick the right money before you like have a proper career.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Get you started right before you actually start earning the big bucks.
I really like that.
You'll thank us. You will thank us later.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hopefully, yeah.
value for value.
Mm.
It comes in the form of a choice. $50 in government tokens, aka aka dollars, or $50 in sat chat, or $50 in sat. Okay, we're not selling sat chat stock.
I mean, you have such a rare person here.
Yeah.
And someone's really smart here, so I'm.
You would buy the stock.
We don't know which one's smart.
We can't
'cause he's
actually buy.
sneaky.
Yeah. All right. So
Switch over to just smart sneaky.
Bitcoin right now, the exchange rate is $105,100 for one Bitcoin, which translates to 951 sats per dollar. I got my lucky rare Bitcoin dashboard back there. I just multiply that by 50 and I get 47,550 sats.
Well,
or $50.
I remember the first episode I watched y'all. It was like for $50 you get like 49,200 and something. So I'll have to go with the sats.
Ooh.
Whoa, that was real scary.
You're about to
Did
be
you
holy.
see that?
Yeah, I know. I was like, wait a second. Wait a minute.
I don't know if Jeremy picked it up, but there was like a quick eye dart over to the dollar just before, and I was like, "Yo, what's happening here?"
Well, because what you were saying was like you used to be giving away more sats than that. So
yeah,
maybe I'll go with the dollar.
There was I was like, okay, she's trying to say
is that the value of the sat has increased.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
-10 to the 8.
Yeah.
So therefore, I should get the sats while they're at this price.
We've given away 60,000 sats on one show.
Crazy.
Yeah, because it was down in the 80s. The exchange rate was down in the 80s. Yeah, yeah. Even just this year. So
I'll take the 80,000. It's okay. You can give me that.
We only have one. We only have one delayed deal on the table. And
don't talk about that. I don't want anybody else getting any ideas.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I remember that. It's like she was really smart. Laurel, number 72, 71.
Yeah, way to go, Laurel. Good.
She was really impressive. Actually, she's what I started paying more attention because her idea, I like her idea of diversifying your investments while also keeping Bitcoin in mind. Yeah. Because that could create more stability. Which I like the idea because it lessens the fears of getting into it. Because in addition to getting into Bitcoin, you're also getting into other investments, which can also help you.
You just keep on doing you. You're on the right track.
So
you don't need
she was
us.
really interesting.
Wow,
so
you need us to help you stack your first sats,
and you can just keep adding $50.
Nah,
so
we have when the glass is broken, it only gets broken once. Victor broke the glass one time.
Is that glass?
That's done. Laurel broke the glass one time. That's done. It's over.
So we find a leak, we patch it up.
Yeah, we do. We get it real patched up.
Well, if you want more college kids, I do have a referral cost, so it's okay.
Oh, you
can just put it.
Can we pay you in sats? Yeah. Okay, I like that.
That's how I'll break the glass in a different spot.
Amazing. 47,550 sats. Sarah has stacked them on the show. She brings our scoreboard to 70 who have stacked the sats, 6 who have chosen cash. I'm very happy that we reached 7-0 before we got to 7. I'm feeling superstitious that we're going to have a 7. And it's probably going to be my sister.
Oh, she can't come on.
She not only can she must, because this month is really slim, my brother. I'll take. Come on in. You want the cash? Fine. Just sit down, please. So this is the part of the show where we ask you Satillionaires for your value in exchange for ours. What do we value? YouTube subscriptions. Smash the subscribe button for your chance at 10 million sats when we reach 100,000 subscribers. Woo! 99999 plus 1. Okay. 5 nines plus 1. When we reach that. All right. 10 million sats.
Just go buy some hummus.
Buy the dip. Get the Ithaca hummus.
Good. Coming from someone who doesn't like hummus.
Boom.
You eat it for lunch. I saw you.
Sarah likes it.
I'm eating it.
Ripped in playlists like your OG Furious. Help us get the watch hours to unlock the membership area. And, stay tuned for the road to number 99, Kristen. Man, I got to really detach from those outcomes. Remember, Sat Chats is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Also, our guests' views are their own. See you tomorrow for Tuesday's episode. Bye-bye.